In a world where becoming an adventurer is a profession, most people who are born poor choose the adventurer path as their source of income. The Adventurers Guild gives free training and would even give the adventurer magic. Since the guild gives free meals during training, the protagonist, Wade, immediately signed up to become an adventurer right after he turned 15. Wanting to live a life for himself, Wade left his drunkard father. Walking around the city, Wade saw different types of people who became adventurers for different reasons. Becoming an adventurer apprentice, Wade started off his training by running around the training camp. With all the trainees on their knees, breathing heavily, they were told by the instructor that becoming an adventurer would mean that they chose to risk their lives, and that building up their stamina would increase their survivability. Enduring the harsh training, Wade sought comfort in the food in the camp. Reminding the trainees again that their profession is dangerous enough to take away their lives, the instructor informed everyone to eat as if it was their last meal. Chomping down on the food, Wade noticed a girl near him and realized that it was the girl he saw on the street, having trouble eating all the food. Wade was very much grateful for the training and food he received, as his malnourished body grew more and more, building up more muscle. One day, Wade and the rest of the trainees saw an unfamiliar carriage and thought that the time had come for them to finally receive magic. Everyone became excited, eager to receive power and become the strongest adventurer. The Adventurer Guild mainly houses soldiers, hunters, and dungeon explorers, and gaining a silver rank meant that the adventurer is a veteran rank. Looking at Wade, a fellow trainee puts his arm around Wade and mentions how Wade is so calm while everyone is getting worked up. Brushing off the fellow trainee's arm, Wade corrects the trainee, telling him that he is not calm but rather scared. Wade shares how he had been giving his all in the camp, and is worried that he would receive useless magic. The boy gets angry at Wade when he mentions how jealous he was of the boy's carefree attitude. The boy never liked Wade's cool and collected manner, opposite to him who is hot-headed. With their instructor arriving, the trainees were then asked to form up and were informed that they would be performing the magic transmission ceremony. The fellow trainee who had an argument with Wade, Flynn, was called up and later received the magic element of fire, allowing him to reach the entrance of the hero. Upon having his name called, Wade becomes nervous, thinking of the different types of elemental magic he could receive, such as water, specializing in healing, earth with its strong defensive traits, wind, a very popular magic because of its high mobility, and fire, an offensive magic. If an adventurer receives a magic that is farther away from the main elemental magic, they are considered an outlier. Wade was in shock upon learning that he received the worst kind of magic, slowpoke magic. Wade's eyes still had fire and he had no plans on giving up. When Wade tried using his magic allowing him to gain more weight, he ended up trapping himself on the ground. Wade had lost his mind, thinking how his magic is not just useless but would also drag him down. Thinking of past memories, Wade wakes up and realizes that he had a different life and got reincarnated in his current world. With the memory of his past life, Wade remembered the law of universal gravitation. Looking at his hand, Wade thought of possible theories he could do with his magic, making it more useful. Grabbing a sword, Wade focused and added weight onto the sword. Before Wade realized that he had created a breakthrough with his magic, he first suffered injuries from it. Although Wade's magic is thought to be powerful, it is still dangerous if its wielder uses it incorrectly. While eating his meal, Flynn arrived and greeted him with a good morning. Knowing that Wade received the worst type of magic, Flynn asked him if he planned on quitting and becoming an adventurer. Seeing Flynn acting all high and mighty, Wade told him that although Flynn received great magic, he should still focus on becoming a strong adventurer, reminding Flynn that their profession could end up taking their lives. Angered by Wade's words, Flynn threw a punch, but Wade caught it. Letting his emotion get the better of him, Flynn challenged Wade to a mock battle. Flynn became happy when Wade accepted the challenge, making him very eager to use his fire magic on Wade. During training, Wade used his magic to increase the difficulty of his training. When Wade deactivated his magic, he noticed that he had increased his speed. Adding more weight to himself during training, Wade realized how he actually liked his magic. Meanwhile, Flynn was busy impressing his fellow trainees with his magic. Observing Flynn, Wade knew that his magic would not be strong enough to beat Flynn's magic. Fire magic is strong enough to even take out low-level monsters, a magic that is helpful for an adventurer. In the hallway, Wade bumped into his fellow trainees and was then mocked because of his magic. Though the trainee boasted about obtaining wind magic, Wade was not impressed and even thought that the trainee was speaking nonsense. With the argument starting to heat up, Wade activated his magic and grabbed his fellow trainee's wrist and knocked him down in mere seconds. Although there were other trainees who witnessed the fight, they couldn't figure out what Wade did. When the day of the mock battle finally came, Wade and Flynn were assigned to be the first match. Knowing the competitor's magic, the observers believed that Flynn would win the match. Seeing Wade holding a shield and a sword, Flynn told Wade that the equipment would be useless against his magic. When the instructor gave the signal for the fight to start, the two remained still, which puzzled the instructor. Seeing Wade moving so swiftly, Flyne immediately reacted and threw a fireball. With Wade easily dodging the fireballs, Flyne became irritated, insulting Wade and his slowpoke magic. When Wade realized that he couldn't dodge a fireball that was headed towards him, he was left with no other choice but to use his wooden shield. Frustrated, Flyne told Wade that they should have a fair fight, to which Wade obliged. Canceling his magic, Wade was able to increase his speed, making it more difficult for Flyne to land an attack. Before Flyne could realize the situation, he was already in Wade's attack range. Activating his slowpoke magic mid-air, Wade was able to land his attack much faster than Flyne could release his fireball. Wade's attack was so strong that it threw Flyne across the training grounds. Everyone was in shock, as they had already expected that Flyne would win the match. Enraged, Flyne, who thought that he was now above Wade after obtaining the fire magic, launched another fireball. However, Wade immediately activated his magic, allowing him to successfully block the attack. Wade then threw the remnants of the fireball back at Flyne, which resulted in Flyne getting burned. Seeing how Flyne is no longer capable of fighting, Wade left without telling anyone. After his fight with Flyne, Wade becomes the talk of the school. Wade was not happy with his current situation, as he is drawing more attention than before. For the next practice training, the instructor announces that trainees must create a party of up to 6 people as they will be exploring the dungeon. The instructor believes that Wade is talented and that Flyne has some problems on his side. However, in order to participate in the next training, Wade must join a party. Remembering his past life, Wade knows that he has somewhat of an experience in teaming up with others, and hopes that he can apply his experience in his new world. Wade tried to join some groups, but none of them accepted him, as they did not want Wade joining their party. Wade now faces a new problem, as he cannot get a graduation permit if he cannot join a party. Hearing a commotion nearby, Wade saw 2 women arguing, recognizing the other as Ice Cream. Wade remembers how the woman was completely engrossed in Ice Cream's magic from the first day. Wade interrupted the women's conversation, asking them what they were doing. The woman was surprised by Wade's sudden appearance and advised him to not get involved. The woman then explains how Ice Cream has better grades than her despite coming from the slums. Staring at the woman, Wade asks his question again, which startles the woman, and she tells Wade that she was just recruiting. When Ice Cream suddenly asks Wade to team up with her, the woman laughs as she believes that no one would team up with Ice Cream. However, the woman was not expecting Wade to accept the offer, and they even left together with Ice Cream. Starting off with their party, Wade formally introduces himself. Ice Cream felt happy upon forming a team with Wade, to which the two hoped that they could do their best in the dungeon. A few days later, everyone has gathered up to start exploring the dungeon with their party. Before entering the dungeon, the instructor reminds the trainees to always be careful, as they cannot afford any more casualties. The woman who wanted to recruit Ice Cream spoke up and mentioned that the dungeon they are about to enter was created to kill its visitors, a place of pure malice. If one survives inside the dungeon, that would mean that they can survive anywhere. Seeing how the trainees are so relaxed, the instructor becomes infuriated and announces to the trainees that they have until graduation to clear up to the 5th floor of the dungeon. For the trainees who achieve the goal, they will be given a Bronze Adventurer's certificate during their graduation, showing that they are a fully fledged adventurer. Seeing the trainees full of excitement, the instructor gave frightening information, informing everyone that lots of trainees died in the dungeon last year, reminding everyone to not underestimate the dungeon. Both Wade and Ice Cream were excited to enter the dungeon when suddenly the woman approached Ice Cream again, still offering to recruit her and now extending her offer to Wade. With her pride, the woman made it clear that she will just allow them to join their party and does not really care about them. This angered Wade, and he asked the woman if she is stupid. The woman was shocked to be called stupid and told Wade that he is the one who didn't get a proper education and should call himself stupid instead. Wade and Ice Cream left and were now headed towards the dungeon. Before entering, Ice Cream hopes that she and Wade could remain friends even after they graduated. Inside the dark dungeon, Wade lit up a torch and was relieved that he brought a more thick gear. Although being an adventurer meant that you would have to risk your life always, many still pursue the profession as it would give them power and wealth. The king of the country rose to power using the treasure he brought back from the dungeon, and a merchant who was feared because of his previous background, which is an adventurer. There are treasures in everyone's dungeon, but it also comes with a mountain of corpses from people who also sought out the treasure. Wade thought that if he ever improves in becoming an adventurer, he would soon get work as a hunter anywhere. Wade gave the signal to stop, drawing his sword and throwing the torch ahead of them. Seeing a horde of goblins coming towards them, Wade immediately activated his magic. Charging towards the goblins, Wade swiftly cut off the head of a goblin. Wade continued his attack and had his attack blocked by a goblin's club. However, with Wade's magic, the pressure of his attack was too strong, cutting not just the club but the whole goblin included. Hearing another goblin behind him, Wade realized that he became too cocky and left his back open for an attack. Fortunately for Wade, Ice Cream used her ice magic and froze the goblin. Before entering the dungeon, Wade and Ice Cream had a small meeting and were not expecting for Ice Cream to be so down even though she has a powerful magic. Ice Cream grabs a bucket of water, wanting to show Wade something. After ordering Wade to throw the bucket of water to the training doll, Ice Cream then used her ice magic and froze the doll, impressing Wade. Wade realizes that Ice Cream can only use her magic if there's water nearby. Curious, Wade asks Ice Cream if she can perform her magic without water. Seeing how nothing happened after Ice Cream used her magic, Wade realizes that Ice Cream is pretty much useless without water. Ice Cream keeps on apologizing to Wade and even promises that she will not be a burden to him. Wade calms Ice Cream and tells her that his magic is no better, as he could only mostly use his magic for weight training and nothing else. With the help of Wade's guidance, Ice Cream learned that her ice magic can still be useful even without any water. Back in the dungeon, Ice Cream explained how she was startled and could not react immediately upon seeing the goblins. Before Ice Cream could react, Wade was already drawing the goblin's attention. Seeing the goblin frozen to death, Wade was very impressed with Ice Cream. As the two prepare for the worst as they venture much deeper inside the dungeon, Wade notices a weapon and thinks that it may be covered in poison. Wade becomes nervous as he never expected to encounter poisonous objects already on the first floor. Meanwhile, Drop was still angry at Ice Cream for choosing Wade over her. Drop starts to wonder what advantages Wade has over her. Too occupied with thinking about Wade and Ice Cream, Drop becomes annoyed when her party members keep calling her name. Turning around, Drop froze in fear as a hideous monster was behind her. As Wade and Ice Cream explored more of the dungeon, they encountered and killed multiple goblins. Seeing Wade utilize his magic left Ice Cream astonished, and she even thought that Wade felt like soaring freely through the air. Wade explained that it was because of his new spell and thought that a wandering goblin would be good practice for his spell. Wade obtained his new spell before entering the dungeon, a spell that could reduce his weight, allowing him to leap higher and move faster. Upon testing his new magic, Wade immediately felt the change in his body. Testing the magic by jumping, Wade became excited as he was able to see the whole town with just one jump. After explaining to Ice Cream about his new spell, the two suddenly heard a noise. Curious, Ice Cream wondered where the sound came from, to which Wade believed that it may be someone from his class, and suggested that they get much closer. Although nervous, Ice Cream still followed Wade's lead and went to help. After running for some time, Wade was shocked when he saw a Manticore. No one expected to encounter a Manticore on the first floor. Seeing the Manticore biting down on a human being, Wade told Ice Cream that he would charge towards the Manticore and ordered Ice Cream to distract the monster. Using his new spell, Wade was able to reposition himself on top of the Manticore and landed a blow on its chest. Although Wade's attack was successful, setting the hostage free in the process, the victim was still badly wounded. Drop immediately tended to the wounded, using her water magic to heal the injury. Pointing his sword at the Manticore, Wade asked Drop's party if there were any level-headed trainees that could fight, as he needed backup. With one man standing beside him, Wade felt glad that he at least wouldn't be facing a strong monster alone. Seeing an opportunity, Ice Cream sneaked behind the Manticore and was able to freeze its tail. In agonizing pain, the Manticore suddenly spoke, asking for help. The adventurers were surprised upon hearing the Manticore speak. Wade thought that the monster could understand human language, but the man beside Wade thought differently. The man had never seen a monster understand human language before and believed that the monster was just copying. With the Manticore now charging towards them while asking for help, it made the situation more complicated for Wade. Although hearing a human voice from a monster confused Wade for a second, it still did not stop him from fighting the Manticore. After swatting the Manticore's paw away, Wade followed up with a thrust to the body. Unfortunately for Wade, the stress he's been putting on his body by using his skill had caught up, and he no longer had enough strength to remove his weapon. Backing away before the Manticore's paw hit him, Wade explained to Ice Cream that he had reached his limit. The man thought that Wade had created a fatal wound by stabbing the Manticore in the heart. However, Wade thought that it was not yet the end, even though the wound was serious. Remembering the teachings of their instructor to first neutralize the enemy before killing it, Wade thought that their situation was at its worst. The man then stepped up and told Wade that he would be protecting them now. However, Wade refused to sit out in the fight and planned to continue even if he had to use his own hands. The man thought that Wade was crazy but could not complain as he also needed help in fighting the Manticore. Wade shared with the man that he had a friend behind the Manticore and that all he needed to do was to stop the Manticore in order for Ice Cream to get an opening. Throwing a rock at the Manticore, Wade was able to grab its attention. After dodging the Manticore's attacks, the man surprised the Manticore by suddenly appearing in front of it and landing a powerful blow on the head. However, the attack proved to be ineffective. The Manticore retaliated and bit down on the man's hammer. Seeing an opening form above, Wade then increased his weight and broke the Manticore's back by landing on it. With his hammer now free, the man then used his skill and finished off the Manticore by hitting its head once again. Securing their win, Wade called for ice cream, to which she then touched the Manticore's body, freezing it. With the Manticore subdued, Wade borrowed the man's hammer and smashed the Manticore to pieces. Picking up his sword, Wade asked Drop's party how many of them were still capable of moving, as they needed to make a break for it. With Wade taking the lead and the others carrying the injured, Drop could only watch as her team was saved by Wade and faced failure. When Wade and the group he saved finally got out of the dungeon, he immediately reported the incident to the instructor. Upon hearing such horrific news, the instructor said that the Manticore may have just been an individual that got separated from its group. After encountering a rare incident, the instructor immediately canceled the training and suggested that everyone go home. The instructor approached Wade and the others, telling them how impressed he was that they had defeated a Manticore even though they were just apprentices. Before leaving, the instructor informed the three to keep doing their best until they die. The man sat down, exhausted from the fight. When Wade asked for the man's name, the man was shocked as he didn't expect Wade to forget his name. Scratching his head, Wade apologized and explained that he was not like Flynn or others who had traits that characterized them. The man thought that Wade would never remember him if he kept quiet, and then introduced himself as Clay, a magic user. Seeing Clay and Ice Cream shake hands, Wade realized that the names in his new world were so easy to remember, befitting for a world that has magic. Leaving the dungeon entrance, Wade shared how scared he really was when facing the Manticore, and was certain that all of them would have died if there had been two Manticores. After the incident, Wade started to question why they were allowed to form a party under such loose conditions. Clay was confused as to why Wade questioned malicious intent when the dungeon itself was a labyrinth of malice. In a place where there is a high chance of dying, dungeons were then set up so that humans would not enter. Lots of adventurers still explore dungeons in hopes that they will discover mountains of treasure. However, Clay pointed out that entering a dungeon with only 2 people or less is practically suicide. Thinking hard, Wade finally understood why it was required to have more party members when entering the dungeon. Wade explained to the curious Ice Cream that if someone goes alone, they have a high chance of not coming out. Meanwhile, if a party enters the dungeon, they can still retreat even if they are seriously injured. Wade believed that regardless of how many people are in the party, there's still a chance they could die, and believed that is what the dungeon's malice is all about. When the group passed by a shop for equipment, Clay's attention was drawn to the items, and he thought that he needed something more substantial. While Clay wondered how much the items were worth, both Wade and Ice Cream were also drawn to the shop, wanting to switch to much better equipment. Wade proposed to the group that they purchase the equipment together next time. Wade told Clay that he still needed to turn in the things they found for cash. Clay was very happy with just the invitation alone, and went on praising Wade for not backing down from a Manticore, daring to fight without a weapon. Witnessing Wade fight, Clay thought that he might be seeing the birth of a hero. Ice Cream thought the same after seeing Wade move so fast and fly away. Hearing such praises, Wade felt embarrassed. Ice Cream was certain that if Wade hadn't been there, everyone probably would have died, making it more concrete that Wade was truly amazing. Wade then pointed out how he wouldn't have been able to land any of his attacks if both Clay and Ice Cream hadn't been present. After Wade shared what he had observed from the fight, Ice Cream couldn't help but turn red, feeling embarrassed. Drop, who was standing outside, joined in the conversation, asking them what they were talking about. When Wade asked Drop what she wanted, Drop responded that she wanted nothing, and only chimed in since she had heard something strange. Drop mentioned how Clay did fine and that Ice Cream's magic was not helpful at all. Wade defended Ice Cream, pointing out how Ice Cream's magic was the only reason why they were able to secure the Manticore's death. Not pleased with Drop's hurtful comments, Wade told Drop that she was the most useless during the incident, ignoring the Manticore in front of her. Wade asked if Drop had even considered the possibility of getting killed while treating the injured. Drop suddenly started to shake, admitting her mistake and thanking Wade for saving her and the others. Realizing that he had gone too far with his words, Wade immediately apologized. Wade believed that Drop still thought of what she could do even in a scary situation. Though Drop's actions were not exactly correct, Wade still praised her for putting in the effort. Unlike Wade, who had lived a past life, everyone around him looked like boys and girls around his age. Staring at his hand, Wade thought about how it seemed like someone had developed a certain tolerance for their fears. Wade accepted how grateful Drop was towards him, but hoped that she would keep her comments about making fun of people to herself moving forward, the secret to living well. After telling Drop that she could go now, Wade told the others that it was time for them to disband, asking them one last time if they were okay. Upon confirming that everyone was fine, Wade decided to take a nap and rest his body. Drop, who was slowly developing admiration towards Wade, asked Ice Cream if she truly had a crush on him. When Ice Cream nervously answered that she did, Drop clarified that she only thought about how cool Wade was, and did not feel more than that. With Ice Cream returning to her old self who could not respond properly, it ignited Drop's anger, starting another argument between the two. Drop did not like Ice Cream's words and was certain that Ice Cream was not the type of person who would say such things. Drop thought that Ice Cream was once a nice girl who listened to everything she said. After cornering Ice, Drop realized that Ice did not like the fact that Drop was interested in Wade. After confessing that she liked Wade, Drop suddenly pushed Ice Cream to the wall, hitting her head. With rage on her face, Drop told Ice Cream that Wade would never like someone half-baked like Ice Cream. Drop threatened Ice Cream, telling her that if she got serious, she wouldn't get a chance. After being slapped by Drop, Ice Cream cried and was then mocked for it. Drop then informed Ice Cream that Wade wasn't around to save her. Drop then tried to manipulate Ice Cream, telling Ice Cream that she would now help her. When Ice Cream responded in confusion, it angered Drop, and she slapped Ice Cream once again. Ice Cream was speechless, as she could not believe that she was once again under Drop's ruling. Before meeting Wade, Ice Cream always hung out with Drop, even though Drop disliked all the things she liked. Though Drop hung out with Ice Cream, she never considered her as her friend when there were others around. After facing such abuse, Ice finally reached her limit and decided to leave. Before leaving, Ice Cream was warned that the place she was headed was full of roughnecks. However, it was not enough to dissuade Ice Cream from pursuing becoming an adventurer. Since Ice Cream's mind could no longer be changed, her father bid her good luck and hoped that she wouldn't push herself too hard. After bidding farewell to her father, Ice Cream arrived at the slums and thought that her father was indeed correct. Ice Cream was surprised when the first person she met in the city was the same person she was trying to avoid. Drop told Ice Cream how it was a coincidence that she also decided to become an adventurer, wanting to be strong enough to protect herself. Ice Cream's hope slowly faded because of Drop's presence. With all of Drop's orders, Ice Cream somehow did not have the strength to refuse her and could only just bear it out. During training, Drop would always get angry at Wade for always getting the top spot and not her. However, even in sparring or in class, Wade would always get ahead of Drop, which frustrated her. After receiving their magic powers, Drop informed Ice Cream that she had already gathered the party members they needed for the exploration, and that all Ice Cream needed to do was to follow her closely. However, Ice Cream finally refused to follow Drop's order, which angered Drop. As the two were about to argue, Wade arrived and intervened, and eventually created a party with Ice Cream. Wade's words held more than just words for Ice Cream, as she could also feel power in them. Wade, who had won against someone who had the fire magic spell with only just his slow magic, gave Ice Cream new hope and encouraged her to stand up for herself. Thanks to Wade, Ice Cream became more confident with her half-baked magic. It was also thanks to Wade that Ice Cream gained the courage to finally leave Drop. Ice Cream believed that she owed all the changes that happened in her life to Wade. Back in the present, Drop tried her best to manipulate Ice Cream once again, making her believe that Wade did not suit her. Thinking how Wade would soon vanish and be swallowed by Drop, Ice Cream retaliated, activating her magic. Drop looked confused, not hearing Ice Cream casting her magic. Drop told her that she just wanted a response. Drop was surprised when Ice Cream suddenly pushed her. Angry, Drop told Ice Cream to stop messing around. But Drop immediately realized that something was not right, seeing how she couldn't remove her hand from the ground. Drop was puzzled as to why she couldn't stand up. Ice Cream, who had frozen her surroundings, shared with Drop how Wade encouraged her to use her ice magic in different ways. Ice Cream just thought that she could stick things together using her ice magic. Realizing that Ice Cream was now in control, Drop became frightened. Grabbing Drop's shoulders, Ice Cream told her that if she could put Drop's shoulders on the ground, then her whole body would get stuck on the ground. Now laying on the ground, Ice Cream asked Drop questions about her character. Ice Cream was unable to control her emotions after being threatened by Drop that she would take Wade away from her. Having her lips touched by Ice Cream, Drop let out a scream at first. But after Ice Cream used her magic, Drop was unable to use her mouth. Ice Cream confessed to the subdued Drop how she had always hated her, and was annoyed by Drop's very own presence. Sealing Drop's mouth with ice, Ice Cream shared how she felt very happy meeting and getting to know Wade. Witnessing for herself how amazing of a person Wade is, it encouraged Ice Cream to not give up even though she received a terrible magic. Ice Cream told Drop that Wade is always going to be more than Drop will ever become. Ice Cream expressed how she felt like she is always in the way of Drop, and was certain that it would be the case if she had joined Drop. However, upon meeting Wade, Ice Cream realized that she held back against Drop. Not wanting for Wade to suffer the same as her, Ice Cream warned Drop to never get close to Wade. With Drop shaking her head, Ice Cream removed the ice from Drop's mouth, to which Drop reassured Ice Cream that she will never approach Wade. Promising to not go near Wade, Drop asked if she could now be released, as she felt cold and miserable. Unfortunately for Drop, Ice Cream was able to see through her lies and even shared to Drop that she grins widely when lying. Ice Cream released her magic, which frightened Drop, and promised to Ice Cream that she will comply with what she had promised. Ice Cream couldn't believe Drop's words and thought of just freezing her to death, wondering if anyone would even find out about Drop dying. With her eyes bawling, Drop begged Ice Cream to spare her life, reassuring Ice Cream that she will keep her promise. When Ice Cream asked Drop how she will prove that she has fulfilled her promise, Drop looked confused. As Ice Cream continued to freeze Drop's body, Drop started to regret what she had done, not wanting for her life to end. Ice Cream once again asked Drop how she will prove that she will not get close to Wade. Drop promised to Ice Cream that she will quit the training academy and will no longer pursue becoming an adventurer. After encountering a Manticore in the dungeon, and now having her life threatened once again by Ice Cream, Drop thought how she is done with the adventurer life. After releasing her ice magic, Ice Cream told Drop to get her luggage and just get out of town. With her clothes all ruined, Drop stood up and followed Ice Cream's orders. Ice Cream thought before that she could never win against Drop. But after being encouraged by Wade, Ice Cream found a new strength and proved that she can be strong. With Wade's words alone, it made Ice Cream think how Wade is an amazing person. Arriving at the shop, Wade saw the customers and realized that the shop welcomes any customer. Wade heard that Clay was already in the shop but could not see him anywhere. Coincidentally, Clay called for Ice Cream and Wade. The two were surprised when they saw Clay with new armor. Clay explained that after receiving Wade's invitation, he was so happy that he ended up purchasing the armor. Seeing how the two reacted differently, Clay asked if something was wrong. Wade responded that nothing was wrong, and that the armor suited Clay very well. When the three entered the store, they were welcomed by a woman who recognized Wade right away and offered Wade items at a cheap price. Wade was grateful for the offer but wanted to do an evaluation first. Presenting the knife he had picked up in the dungeon before, the woman immediately recognized the item as a goblin knife laced with poison, a rare item. Wade was surprised that the woman knew of the item. The woman offered to purchase the knife and would even paint it for Wade, to which Wade was grateful. Wade then told the others to look for some weapons for themselves and that they can just meet back at the cashier. A couple of days ago, Wade learned that Drop left the training camp, leaving the party she created to fall apart. With Drop's party going nowhere, Clay ended up joining Wade's party instead. Wade was still puzzled why Drop left when she tried her best and reached second place. Ice Cream tugged Wade's shirt, asking for help in picking a weapon that was suited for her. Wade was not sure if he could choose the best weapon, but Ice Cream was just thankful that Wade would pick a weapon for her, regardless of what it is. Wade told Ice to not hesitate in choosing the type of weapon she liked. With the type of magic Ice Cream has, Wade believed that the weapon best suited for Ice Cream is a weapon that can transmit magic. For the type of weapon, Ice Cream wanted something light and with length. When Ice Cream shared her idea of using a light sword as a conduit for her magic, Wade liked the idea and praised Ice Cream for it. Since the main purpose of Ice Cream's attack is not to slice the enemy but to convey Ice Cream's magic, Wade believed that a rapier or glaive would best suit Ice Cream. However, Ice Cream was not sure of the weapon since rapiers are mostly used by nobles. With orichalcum used in making the weapon may probably be out of their price range. Wade decided on a weapon similar to a rapier called Rehia, as its advantage is its durability. In case the weapon breaks, Wade grabbed another one as a backup. After handing the weapons he proposed, Ice Cream felt happy and thanked Wade for the help. Wade wanted a weapon on his left hand, similar to a dagger or a type of defensive weapon that does not hinder agility. Seeing a mace near her, Ice Cream showed it to Wade, which Wade found to be a pretty ideal weapon. With Ice Cream feeling content with her two weapons, Wade then asked for her help in choosing his weapon. While looking for a weapon, the two saw Clay searching for a weapon for himself. At the heavy weaponry section, Clay asked if they planned on getting a heavy weapon. Ice Cream responded that she would not be able to use the weapon. Seeing Ice Cream's small figure, Clay agreed. Clay then told Wade that he might be capable of wielding heavy weapons because of his magic. Forgetting the name of Wade's magic, Clay felt embarrassed and apologized, explaining that with the rumors getting ahead of themselves, it led to him forgetting the magic's real name. Wade asked Clay if he planned on purchasing any items. Clay responded that the equipment he was currently wearing was much better. Since the two were looking for a weapon for Wade, Clay offered to share his knowledge of heavy weapons that may suit Wade. Jealous, Ice Cream offered to help but did not realize that her voice was too loud. While looking through the different types of swords, from a buster sword to a two-handed sword, Wade picked up a claymore and thought about how easy it was to handle but wished the weapon was a bit heavier. When Wade looked ahead, he saw a huge sword. With Wade's build, the others thought that it might be difficult for him to wield and may only be used in a large hall, like fighting a big boss in a dungeon. Touching the sword, Wade imagined using it against a monster and cutting it in half in just seconds. The shop owner noticed Wade getting interested in the sword and thought that the rumors of Wade liking heavy weapons might be true. Wade explained that his magic helps make heavy things light for him. The shop owner shared how the sword had not been purchased for a long time because of its size. The shop owner also shared how she takes responsibility in handing weapons to adventurers, even with overzealous trainees, advising them to select a weapon that is best suited for them. However, with Wade, the shop owner did not reject him yet if he wished to purchase the huge sword. Before purchasing the sword, the shop owner set a condition where Wade would need to lift the sword. Changing the offer, the shop owner told Wade that she would give the sword for free if he could lift and wield the sword. Wade's eyes glowed, taking up the shop owner's offer. After confirming that the shop owner was not tricking him, Wade held the sword's handle and with the use of his magic he lifted the sword with one hand. The shop owner thought that swinging the sword would be proof enough, but she didn't expect that Wade would lift the sword with just one hand. Both Clay and Ice Cream were happy for Wade for finally obtaining a weapon he liked, and for making him look even cooler. Wade ended his purchase with a pair of gauntlets. Since only Ice Cream and Wade would be purchasing the items, the shop owner asked Wade what he planned to do with the goblin knife. Wade told the shop owner to subtract half the purchase price from each item. Upon hearing that Wade would pay half of each of their items, Ice Cream felt embarrassed and urged Wade not to do it. Wade explains that since they took down the monster together, all of them should receive parts of the reward. Both Wade and Ice Cream started to argue about the rewards and who should be receiving them. Clay joined the conversation, suggesting that they quickly end the argument, as he already knew what he intends to buy. With Ice Cream surprised by the realization that she was having an argument with Wade, she became embarrassed, thus ending the argument. After Wade closed the deal, the shop owner, who witnessed the two argue, told Ice Cream that she was still quite difficult to handle, bidding her good luck. Ice Cream turned red after being told by Wade that they should go on a date next time if she's still not satisfied. Dropping her swords, Ice Cream was unable to take the pressure and ended up passing out. Fortunately for Ice Cream, Clay and Wade were near to catch her. The shop owner then told Wade that his teasing may have been a little too intense. Back in the dungeon, the group was now facing a horde of wolf monsters. Utilizing his magic, Wade easily knocked the monsters out, easily pushing them with force. With his fists alone, Wade defeated the wolves without breaking a sweat. Wade tries to prove a point that if one gets suddenly attacked after being hit with a torch, the enemy would only think that they would only be fighting one person. Meanwhile, both Ice Cream and Clay also took care of the remaining wolves, freezing them up and finishing them with Clay's Quake spell. Ice Cream was very much impressed with their coordination, as she was certain that they can defeat any incoming enemies. Clay agrees with Ice Cream, as he also felt confident in finishing off the monsters, knowing that Wade had already taken care of the monsters at the back. Looking at the frozen wolves, Wade thought that the information they received was good, but he didn't expect that the monsters they would face would go much deeper in the dungeon. Ice Cream noticed Wade's new gauntlets and complimented them. Wade agrees with Ice Cream about how well coordinated they are, and believes that Ice Cream trying to follow Wade's strategy helped a lot. Wade points out how it has been a while since they've snuck in and that his concentration was starting to fade, suggesting that they get out while they are still able. Looking at his tool, Clay confirmed that their targets had hidden themselves pretty deep. Clay shares with Wade and Ice Cream how once a player reaches silver rank, they are allowed to stay for several days, suggesting if they should head up soon. Wade was starting to notice hints that Clay may be well off and asked Clay if he was from a good family. Confused with Wade's question, Clay reveals that he is the third son of a Viscount family. Upon hearing that Clay was a noble, both Wade and Ice Cream stepped back. Though Clay confirmed that he was a noble, he reassured the two that there's nothing to worry about or feel intimidated by. Remembering his experience in the slums, Wade had always fantasized about what it would feel like to live as a noble. Since Wade only knew of nobles that gave the adventurers magic, he wondered if Clay was similar to that. Clay clarified that the people Wade was talking about were far more important and had higher status than him. On their way out of the dungeon, Clay explained that the House of Viscount was the lowest among the recognized hereditary nobles, and he believed that the people Wade was referring to earlier were from the Earl's family. Being a part of nobility, regardless of what status they held, they were expected to serve the royal family. The Earl was amongst the royalty's relatives and was second in command. After hearing Clay explain the statuses and ranks of the royalty and nobles, Wade thought how nobles were just nobles and seemed to be jaded by the world. Wade called Clay the party leader, asking him if he wanted to take the lead. Embarrassed, Clay told Wade that he had joined their party and was not confident in himself in leading them. Though Wade agreed with Clay, Wade pointed out that they were just forming a party until graduation, and it didn't really matter who the leader was. When the trio finally got out of the dungeon, Wade wondered to himself what type of adventurer he should be. Choosing the adventurer's life, Wade had to choose one of the three paths. First would be becoming a soldier, aiding in the war and protecting the village from bandits. Second was becoming a hunter whose sole purpose was to hunt down demons and partly gather herbs. The third and last was becoming an explorer, diving into the dungeon and seeking its treasures. Worried that Wade may get yelled at, Ice Cream asked him if he had no appetite to eat. Wade responded that he was going to eat and was just lost in thought about which path he should take after graduation. For ice cream, she did not care which path she took as long as she was with Wade. Surprised, Wade thought that Ice Cream came to the training camp for some good reason. Ice Cream never really had a goal to achieve in the camp and was just trying to get away from her family. Wade realized that he was quite similar to Ice Cream, running away from his family. Though they were having so much fun and got along very well, it made Wade wonder more what he should do when the training ended. In Wade's past life, he was able to enjoy lots of food, but still died due to not having enough rest. Wade was surprised when he asked Clay what he wanted to do, and he responded that he wanted to become a hero. Since Clay wants to become a hero, he plans on becoming a torch adventurer. Clay thought that if Wade hasn't made any decisions yet, then he should try becoming a torch adventurer. Ice Cream becomes mad at Clay for putting pressure on Wade, telling him that only Wade can decide what his future is. Clay wanted to persuade Wade more, but seeing Ice Cream already making a point, he decided to back off. Wade thought how weird Ice Cream was for respecting him too much, even though the party they created just kinda happened. Since Wade hasn't made any decisions yet, Clay assumes that he is struggling. Ice Cream, on the other hand, suggests to Wade that he live freely, which Wade assumes means that Ice Cream wants him to live just like her, and in order for Wade to do that, he believes that he needs to find someone he likes first. Seeing Wade not catching what Ice Cream is trying to imply, she tells Wade that he is still hung up on naive things. Wade asks Clay not to tease him and shares how he believes that he is still in the process of growing. Wade tells the two that a few months ago he was probably smaller than Ice Cream. Clay could not believe that Wade was way smaller than Ice Cream back then after witnessing Wade's achievements. The three cherish the time they spent together, as they will all be taking the graduation exam. Since graduation is just around the corner, Clay asks Wade if he has decided on his future. Wade has tried all the options in becoming an adventurer and realized how fun all of them were, that he still couldn't choose one. Clay believes that such a future shouldn't be much of a problem to decide on, suggesting to Wade that he becomes a torch like him. Ice Cream agrees with Clay that Wade shouldn't worry too much, since Wade was able to clear all the requirements for each adventurer's certificate. Wade agrees and wishes that he could awaken a new magic on the 5th floor. After having their meals, the three separated. When Wade visited the training grounds, he was surprised by Ice Cream's sudden appearance. When Wade asks Ice Cream what she is doing out, Ice Cream responded that she was just curious why Wade is still outside. Wade asks Ice Cream if she had finished packing her things. Coincidentally, Ice Cream too asked the same thing to Wade. As the two continued their conversation, Wade looked at the sky and thought how it was a shame that things were about to end. However, Ice Cream thought differently, as she is very excited to be going on a real adventure moving forward. When Wade suddenly patted Ice Cream's head, Ice Cream was shocked, which surprised Wade. Apologizing, Wade asked if what he did was bad. Ice Cream tells him that if he wants to pet her head, then she has his permission. Wade asks Ice Cream if she really wants to join him in his journey, reminding her that they created the party a while before, and now wonders if he is going to drag Ice Cream down onto the path he has chosen. However, Ice Cream just wanted to do what she could for Wade. Seeing Ice Cream's determination, Wade just left it as is. Since Wade already knows what Clay wants to become, Wade asks Ice Cream what she wants to be. Embarrassed, Ice Cream tells Wade that it is a secret. However, if their graduation exam goes well, she can share her secret with Wade. Wade laughs and mentions that they will have to work together. Wade finds his two comrades impressive as they've already set out a goal for themselves, while Wade still can't decide which path he should take since all of them are fun to him. Ice Cream advises Wade to not worry too much, as he soon would understand what he wants and choose his own path. Wade thanks Ice Cream for always cheering him up. Since the exam is going to start soon, Wade plans to get some sleep and prepare afterward. The two bid farewell and say their goodnights. After having a heartwarming moment, Wade realizes that he had forgotten the basics, the danger that comes with the territory. When the graduation exam begins, the trio go ahead and start exploring the dungeon. The adventurer's condition for the copper torch is reaching the 5th floor. Wade suggests to his party that if they see stairs, they should take them. Both Clay and Ice Cream agree with Wade as it is the safest plan. Running through the tunnels, the group meets multiple monsters, from wolves to bat-like monsters. Arriving at the 4th floor, Wade gives his team a heads up that he will turn more serious. Taking the lead, Wade spots a horde of goblins and signals his team to stop. Throwing the torch as a distraction, Wade then activates his magic to lessen his weight and leaps toward the goblins. Now increasing his weight, the impact made by Wade is powerful enough for the goblins to scramble. With added weight on his fist, Wade's uppercut is just strong enough to blast the goblin's head away. Asserting a combat position, Wade applies his combat techniques and defeats the goblins one by one. Grabbing a goblin by the neck, Wade then throws the goblin up and impales it with his fist. With his team in the back, Wade apologizes to the two for messing up his cue. Both Clay and Ice Cream don't mind, and are even happy with the result. After being handed the torch, Wade notices that the others still have a bit of leftover energy. Wade believes that he was being cautious while wandering around the 4th floor. When Wade asks for Clay's opinion, Clay assumes that Wade is asking if they are not needed, and that people who are 5 levels above them are more suited, which Clay agrees with. However, Clay points out that the decision is not up to them, as they only follow what Wade decides. Since Wade has the control, he plans to follow their initial plan to head straight back after reaching the 5th floor. As trainees like them, the benefits in staying in are not that great. Wade believes that if they are to risk their lives, they are better off doing it on a guild quest rather than foolishly risking their lives for pride. Agreeing with Wade's point, the two decide to follow his instructions. Seeing the stairs that lead to the 5th floor, Wade warns the two to be very careful. Upon reaching the 5th floor, Clay does not notice any difference or any anomalies. Accomplishing their task, Wade advises his team to retreat now. As the group heads back up, they coincidentally meet Flynn's party. The boy then asks Wade if they came after him. Confused, Clay asks them what they are talking about. Seeing the boy about to act out, Flynn then lectures him, telling him to stop. Flynn tells his party members that Wade would not do such a thing. After giving an earful to his party member, Flynn apologizes to Wade for his member's rude behavior. When Wade responds that it doesn't really matter to him, the two groups then pass by each other, going on to their own goals. Before leaving, Wade reminds Flynn that reaching the 5th floor would be enough for them to receive the Bronze Adventurer certificate, and that venturing beyond the floor would not be beneficial. Hearing Wade's advice, Flynn asks Wade if he was scared. Wade tells Flynn to just not misunderstand the conditions. As Flynn laughs, seeing how Wade has changed, Flynn turns serious when Wade mentions how Flynn has let go of his tension and too has changed. Not wanting to get too close to Wade, Flynn tells Wade to just leave already. As Wade's party is about to continue going back up, they suddenly hear screams down below the 5th floor. Worried for the safety of his fellow trainees, Wade and his party go down to investigate. Changing his instructions, Wade informs Clay and Ice Cream that he will provide support if danger approaches. With the Manticore on his mind, Wade thinks that Flynn's party has encountered the same monster. Upon reaching the 5th floor, Wade is in shock as he sees not a Manticore but a Chimera instead. Ice Cream is in shock too, as she remembers that a Chimera is one of the dungeon bosses. Though it is unfortunate that they encountered the Chimera, Clay questions if they are strong enough to handle a Chimera. Wade then informs Flynn that they came to help, but Flynn is not pleased to see Wade below as he believes that they will just add themselves as another meal for the monster. Wade provides cover, initiating the fight. Since the first priority is rescuing the boy that is stuck in the Chimera's mouth, Wade tells the others to act quickly. Flynn, who has his fire arrow up and ready, vows to not let the Chimera get out alive. Upon shooting his fire arrow, Flynn is surprised when the Chimera dodges it. Knowing that Wade has gotten faster, Flynn suggests that Wade do something about the Chimera's movement. Wade tells Flynn to not order him around, as he is already taking action on how to deal with the Chimera. When Wade pulls out his sword, Flynn is shocked as he assumes that it is just for decoration. Wade fuses the sword with his magic, allowing him to carry it with just one hand. Wade then provokes the monster, taunting it to start a fight. Now facing a formidable foe, Wade was very much eager to finally test out his sword. After an intense stare down, the Chimera let out a loud roar that made the other trainees cover their ears. Wade remained unfazed in front of danger, telling the ferocious Chimera not to panic and to wait. Charging towards the Chimera, Wade fused his magic onto the sword and swung at the monster. The attack proved to be very successful, giving the Chimera a serious injury. However, it was not enough to take down the monster for good. Believing that his attack might have been shallow, Wade plans to strike again and asks the other trainees to come over. Wade announced that his next strike would be the final one, as he will make sure that the Chimera falls for good. Seeing how determined Wade is, not only his party member came running towards him, but also Flynn. Noticing how the Chimera got distracted, Wade once again infuses his sword with his magic and calls the Chimera's attention. Fighting alongside him, Wade tells Flynn not to panic until the Chimera's state becomes clear, and just to wait. Wade points to the goat's head, believing that it is chewing on something. Clay recognizes that the goat is casting magic and informs Wade that if they do not do something about it, then they will receive death instantly. Wade remembers the teachings of their instructor, informing them that they have to stop the being from releasing magic at whatever the cost, as it will be fatal for non-magic holders once the spell is activated. Wade instructs Flynn to target the goat's head and that the others are to follow along. Seeing no other way, Flynn charged his fire arrow and shot it right at the goat's head. Wade charged at the Chimera, using his sword to prevent the lion head from eating the others. Seeing an opportunity, Ice Cream got out of formation and was about to use her ice magic when the snake head targeted her. With Ice Cream in danger, Clay immediately took action and smashed the snake. Seeing his teammates in trouble, Wade threw a punch at the lion. With Flynn's help, the Lionhead got distracted, allowing for Wade to tend to Ice Cream's injury. Upon seeing that the snake's fang was embedded onto Ice Cream's shoulder, Wade tells her to stop talking and asks Clay if there's something they can do to fix the problem. Clay then pulled out an antidote, hoping that it will help Ice Cream. Although Clay was not certain if the antidote would work on Ice Cream, they only have limited options, and giving the antidote may help Ice Cream. To give Ice Cream a safe area, Wade tells Clay that he will be moving them to the edge and making Ice Cream comfortable. Wade vows that the Chimera will be taken down by Flynn and him, and suggests to Ice Cream that she just watch. As Ice Cream tries to speak, Wade tells her that everything will be alright, and that she has already helped a lot. Ice Cream apologized to Wade for not being able to do more. Ice Cream then handed over her swords, casting them with her ice magic. Wade was very grateful that Ice Cream would let him borrow her swords. Clay reassures Wade that he will keep an eye on Ice Cream. Returning to the fight, Wade was caught off guard and almost had his arm bitten. As Flynn continues throwing his fire arrows, Wade tells him that the fight will now be tougher, but he is certain that they are enough to defeat it. Knowing that the Chimera is setting up a trap, Wade still plans to jump in to attack. Wade informs Flynn that if his magic lands successfully, he would then use the ice-infused swords to take care of the Chimera. Although Flynn is frustrated that throwing fireballs is what is to be expected of him, he would still do his best and would throw a powerful fireball when he gets the chance. With the two party leaders faced off by a powerful monster, Wade remembered in his past life where it is stated that animal eyes are good at catching moving things, and that a stationary target would soon melt into the background. As the Chimera charges forward, Wade also reciprocates. However, the Chimera was able to read Wade's attack, dodging the sword. With its large paw, the Chimera threw Wade across the dungeon. With just one swing, Wade temporarily lost consciousness. Meanwhile, Flynn continues to throw his fireballs, giving Wade some time to wake up and recuperate. Now a part of the trainees that are injured, Wade uses his magic to help himself stand up. Seeing Wade struggle, Flynn rushes towards him, lending help. To Flynn's surprise, Wade wore a pleased expression and was even laughing. Although he suffered so much pain, Wade wonders why he is enjoying it so much. Wade then realized that his true love was inside the dungeon. Wade had always thought that all of the paths presented in becoming an adventurer are all the same. But now, facing the Chimera, Wade realized that it didn't matter what his choice was. With his heart beating faster, Wade picks up his sword and walks towards the Chimera. Hearing Wade mumble, Flynn becomes scared, asking Wade what he is talking about. Wade, who has sustained a serious injury, believes that he is now facing a death match. Wade had recently realized that this type of fight was his favorite. Knowing that he can't use the same style of fighting from before with his body, Wade starts to wonder how he can win against the Chimera. Worried for Wade's safety, Flynn asks him if he is okay. After reassuring Flynn that he is fine, Wade then thought and realized that there is no such thing as being bound by fixed notions. With Wade's attitude, he loved to be more free. Eager to fight again, Wade tells Flynn that they initiate now. Flynn thought it was a bad idea but had no other option but to listen to Wade's instructions. Flynn asks Wade what the plan is now but was surprised to see Wade approaching the Chimera without saying anything. Wade tells Flynn that he has no plan on waiting and is now going to the Chimera. With his gravity magic, Wade made his body lighter than air. Up on the ceiling, Wade gives the signal to crush the enemy. With everyone's eyes all fixed onto him, Wade lets go of his sword, letting it float freely. When the position of the Chimera changed and pointed its blade towards the Chimera, Wade increasingly changed, making it fall so fast that the Chimera almost had its body pierced by it. Looking up, the Chimera was shocked when it no longer saw Wade above. The Chimera only learned of Wade's whereabouts when Wade pierced Ice Cream's sword onto its legs. Running towards his sword, Wade picks it up and swung it at the Chimera's legs, slicing them off. Now that the Chimera was distracted, Wade gave Flynn the signal. Flynn shot another fire arrow at the goat's head, disrupting its spell. Wade then followed up the attack, cutting the goat's head off. With only the lion's head remaining, Wade walked towards the monster and was warned by Flynn that what he was doing was dangerous. Before the Chimera's paw could hit Wade, he once again activated his spell, allowing him to dodge the attack right on time. Now, positioning himself up in the air, Wade increased his weight and hacked the Chimera's body in half. In an act of desperation, the Chimera tries to attack Wade again. However, in its weak state, Wade could now easily dodge the Chimera's attack. Seeing how the Chimera's instinct had dulled, Wade grabbed the opportunity and sliced off the Chimera's arm. With the Chimera's life now on the palm of his hand, Wade sensed new magic emerging within him. Planning to finish the Chimera off once for good, Wade taunts the monster and ends the Chimera's life with his new spell, Object Wade Up. Wade's spell proved to be very powerful, crushing the Chimera. However, even in such a weakened state, the Chimera still has the strength to move. Surprised, Wade threw his sword above the Chimera and then increased its weight, cutting the Chimera's head in the process. After gaining his victory, Wade lost consciousness and woke up with his comrades and instructor beside him. The instructor relayed the report to Wade. The moment they returned from the dungeon, 2 out of 3 people fainted. The instructor heard from Clay most of what happened in the incident. Wade asks Ice Cream if she was now fine, to which Ice Cream responded that she was not. Due to letting her guard down, Ice Cream sustained a permanent injury and just froze the poison that was acting up in her body. Seeing Ice Cream still in pain from the poison, Clay thought that antidotes do not work on Chimera's poison. Upon reading the damage report, Wade confirmed to the instructor that what was written was everything that had happened. Giving the signal to leave, the instructor told Wade that the interrogation was now complete. Despite Wade being the top student, he still caused trouble for the instructor. From the fight with Flyne to defeating the Manticore and now a Chimera, the instructor thought that Wade has some colorful achievements to his belt. After lecturing Wade, the instructor then praises him for achieving something a bronze adventurer couldn't do. What Wade did was the type of story that can only be heard from veteran adventurers or those considered silver rank experts. Embarrassed, Wade asks the instructor to not give out praises too much. The instructor clarifies to Wade that he is not praising him, but rather is worried for Wade's safety. With Wade's achievements, the instructor thought that Wade may be a genius on his way to becoming a hero. However, people around Wade may not be able to keep up with him, which may lead to them putting their lives in more danger. Looking at Ice Cream and Clay, Wade asks his instructor what he should do. The instructor tells Wade that it was now up to him to decide his future. Now that Wade has become stronger and with his talent now bearing fruit, he is starting to forget the adventurer's basic code of conduct. The instructor reminds Wade that being an adventurer is the freest of all, taking orders from no one, and even having the option to refuse an order, even if it came directly from the king. With Wade accepting the responsibility of his decision, the instructor was pleased that he was able to make Wade understand. The instructor then handed Wade 3 amulets, indicating that he has now graduated from the camp. After defeating the Chimera, Wade earned a bronze rank across all adventurer certificates. After informing Wade that the older trainees had already achieved silver or gold ranks, and someone even got a hold of a Byakugan, as parting advice as an instructor, the instructor tells Wade to fight his best until he dies. Accepting the advice, Wade bows and thanks his instructor for the guidance. After telling Wade that he can now prepare on his own, the instructor left. Both Clay and Ice Cream then approached Wade, promising him that they will get stronger, becoming someone that is capable of standing beside him. Wade felt pressured and asked the two what they were talking about. With news of Wade defeating a Chimera, the other trainees started to question if the news was true. Sensing that Wade would soon be bombarded with questions, Clay and Ice Cream offered to help and suggested that Wade escape through the window. Appreciating the help, Wade informs the two that they can meet up later at the Adventurers Guild. Wade coincidentally met Flyne outside, where Flyne then showed Wade the tombs of the people who didn't survive the incident. As Wade apologized for not being able to save them, Flyne tells him that he is being arrogant. Almost forgetting something, Flyne tossed the Chimera's fang to Wade as a thank you. After saying their piece, the two friends parted ways. After the two successfully pushed away the people who wanted to talk to Wade, Clay asks Ice Cream if she plans to meet up with Wade while he gets their rooms ready. Ice Cream was a little embarrassed to meet up with Wade alone. Seeing Ice Cream's reaction, Clay tells her that she can call him if she needs help. With the two going their separate ways, Ice Cream went to a private room, remembering the conversation she had with Wade before venturing out to the 5th floor. Knowing that just being with Wade was no longer enough, Ice Cream suddenly felt pain from the snake's poison. Ice Cream starts to spiral down, thinking of how useless she was while Wade is gradually getting stronger. Afraid of committing more mistakes, Ice Cream thought that Wade would no longer choose her, and would just head to the dungeon on his own. Staying weak was not an option for Ice Cream, and in order to stay beside Wade longer, Ice Cream could only become stronger, to the point that Wade would no longer be able to support himself. From her thoughts, Ice Cream realized that she wants to be strong, not only to protect Wade but strong enough to become his rival. Releasing her magic, Ice Cream was surprised when a familiar appeared. After having a conversation with the familiar, Ice understands that she can no longer let her guard down and decides to become strong to stay by Wade's side. As Wade stepped out of the Adventurers Guild, he was startled when Ice Cream shouted his name. Summoning all of her courage, Ice Cream shares her secret with Wade, how she wants to make him happy. Wade, who was puzzled and did not know what to do, thanks Ice Cream instead and explains how he is not used to such a topic. After receiving permission from Wade to become stronger on her own, Ice Cream vows that she will become so strong that she will be Wade's irreplaceable rival, lamenting herself as Wade's happiness. Clay, who witnessed everything, was surprised to see Wade flustered for the first time. Clay then informs Wade that he has gotten the rooms and is just waiting for the payment. With the Chimera Fang worth more than a whole coin, Wade was told that the item could not be sent over the country right away, and instead was given an upfront payment. Wade also informed the two that the quest they wanted could not be granted, since it requires a party of 4. Wade apologizes to the two as he assumed that he could grab the quest. Seeing how the two are just fine with them being rejected, Wade was thankful, and told that the guild would just contact them if they found a new member to complete their party. While Wade's party went back to their inn, their job posting was noticed by someone who found their roster quite weird.